All right, we're good.
What is going on, everybody? Want to welcome you to chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett. I am Norman Lee,
And I'm Colin Burnett.
and you know what, Colin? We got a lot of good stuff coming up. We're going to talk about here in the next 20, 30, 40 minutes, or how long ever it takes. Hey, we'll stay on here. We'll stay on here all day if we need to, right?
Yep. For sure, we got quite a bit of stuff that we want to talk about. Do this live. Uh, we thoroughly enjoy doing these little live episodes, little deal. With that being said, we've got some news about doing these live live videos. So, Norman, what do we want to tell them about it?
All right, this is a special chat right now, and we're going to be announcing a few things. Um, we are going to be live every Monday at right and around 3ish. We're it's going to be right and around the 3 o'clock mark, but it could vary a half an hour one way or another. But anyway, we are going to be live every Monday 3ish. We'll just call it 3ish.
Yeah, 3ish because one, uh, if we're on the lake and we're videoing, sometimes it might be tough for us to be able to get to here and do a live at 3. So, but it is going to be Monday, roughly around 3ish.
Yeah.
While I'm looking here at it, um, we've got Matt Kozer and Bruce Anderson on. We thank you
What's up,
so
guys?
much, guys. And what is up? And what we want to do with this chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett deal, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting y'all's feedbacks. We want it to be able to where we're seeing y'all's comments. And we're going to just chat with y'all through the comments. We love doing this. We've had a couple videos that we've done it, and it has worked out great. We've been able to communicate with our viewers and all that. Y'all can ask us questions, and we're going to shoot you 100%. So, uh, again, comment saying that you're here and that. And we'll chit chat and we'll go along with it. I think the last video we had more of a conversation, Norman, about with my brother-in-law uh, about what's more important than dinner. So he got on and was chit chatting about dinner, but we will love to for y'all to communicate with us, chit chat back and forth through the comments section because we are live through Facebook, uh, Norman's YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and it's going to be an interactive. So an interactive means we're going to be interacting with you out there as you're watching us. As part of our conversation.
Yep.
So we want to interact with everybody. So definitely, and that's what's going to make it fun, man. Is being able to not only have a conversation with us, but we're actually going to be conversating with you as you're watching it too. So we want it to be as interactive as possible. So just ought to be a good time and a good hangout with talking fishing with us as fishermen, with everybody else out there watching as fishermen as well. So that'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, we're definitely excited about this. This is something new that we're starting. And again, we're wanting to make it a weekly deal.
Not only that, yeah, I was gonna say not only that, but we're also going to be taking it on the road from time to time
yes,
as well, aren't we?
Yes. We got quite a bit of stuff that we're going to have to do on the road. I see that Bruce commented, "Who don't love to eat?" That is very true, but it's nice for y'all slender guys to be saying that kind of stuff, and because
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to take up right now for all that talk you're going to give me about being so slender. Is don't let this little slender physique here of mine. There's not many meals that I actually miss.
true. We also got Christy Cherie, which is a good buddy of mine's sister. On here, we got John Breedlove and Trent Chetham. Uh, we want to thank y'all for getting on here. Um, Again, this is a little deal we're doing, like a little special right now, kind of talking about. We're going to do a series little deal this year. It's called Chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett. And what we are doing, we want y'all to interact with us. So put in the comments like if y'all have questions or anything like that. Um, we want to interact. We'll talk fishing, pretty much talk anything, especially if my brother-in-law gets on here. Bruce gets on here. They love talking about food, but we'll talk about pretty much anything. We're open book about it. We're going to give you our honest opinion, especially when it comes down to fishing and what we're doing right now. So that is one thing that we're wanting this to be, to where it's more interaction with our viewers to with us. So other than that, I mean, what let's see.
What is my background on?
Bruce is saying you can tell him, talking about you, Norman,
Okay.
that we can still put away some food.
Well, no doubt, man, no doubt.
But with that,
see, here's the thing with guys that love to eat that has a slender figure, is that I tell my wife this all the time. She typically will usually call bullshit on that, but I tell her, you know what? The reason I stay so slender and I love to eat, there's not many meals that I pass up, is I just work too hard.
Yeah.
I work it off.
Yeah.
And she's pretty quick to call bullshit on that, but I say, that's the truth. It's always go.
Look, can you log in on your phone to the YouTube, because I'm not getting any comments, it looks like, from your YouTube. So if you log in and pull up the live, and so we don't miss any comments. So
put my when I'm typing on a finger pecker, I type slow, but I finger peck.
So but with that being said, that's what we're doing. We got other announcements that we're wanting to do, announce today. We've already announced pretty much one of the big ones already, but we want to talk about it more in depth. So that is what we're doing while we're coming on here, because I know it is not Monday. Thank goodness. It is Friday. Bad thing is, it is Friday, bluebird skies here in Chattanooga, and it's roughly about 40, upper 40s, low 50s right now. And Norman and I are not out on the water. That's the only issue. So, and you want to click on it and turn your volume down. We'll have an echo.
No, it is.
So, click on it again. Here, let me see for a second. You can chit chat.
Got some technical difficulties here, but yeah, we're looking pretty forward to that, and we got a lot of other stuff coming up too. Of course, now it's no secret we got a podcast we're actually going to be starting up. We're actually going to try, I think we're going to try to get our first episode of the podcast in within the next couple of weeks. I actually get to Florida here the 15th. We're going to try to get our first episode in before I actually have to get to Florida for a couple of weeks. But we have some really, really spot on guests for our first season. So we're really looking forward to that. We got We kind of got a variety of guests coming up for our first year. We got some local hammers, some bait and tackle shop representation. Also going to have. We already got committed, I think, 4 or 5 at this point, and probably some more before the year's out. We got some MLF pros going to be guests on with us, as well as some BASS Elite Series pros as well that we'll have on the show. So ought to be a pretty and a couple of guests we have lined up so far. Ought to be. I mean, it ought to be a pretty comical. Probably laugh from the start of the show to the end of the show. So it ought to be some pretty cool stuff. And as Colin's trying to play with my phone and get it going, you can see who the technical wizard of this duo is.
Well,
if I ever have any questions on any of my social media stuff, I usually get on the horn to Colin. He usually has the answer for me.
Yeah. Hopefully it will pop up for us.
Yeah, we'll see. If anybody does comment on my channel and we don't get it or see it, I apologize, but I will see it after we're finished. But
right,
that's something we'll figure out before the next one, I'm sure.
And if again, hit that like button, especially on the Facebook, because the more likes we get, and if we can share this out, the more people we're going to be able to reach. So that's what our main purpose is, to be able to reach as many people, be able to talk fishing, talk what's coming up with us. So if you can hit that like and share, if you're on our YouTube, hit that thumbs up, and we're going to need, would love for y'all to subscribe. It helps us out, be able to do this more often, to be able to get out and get the reach that we're wanting to build up to. So, but again, what is Norman? What is the name of our podcast that we're going to be doing?
The name of the podcast is called Deck Talk.
Deck Talk.
Yep. And when we're actually trying to think of what we're going to call the podcast, I mean, we had a lot of different ideas, a lot of different thoughts, but it kind of came down to Deck Talk. And what's the reason, Colin? Why are we kind of going with that name? What do you do as anglers when you're out with your fishing buddies on the deck fishing for the day, and you're standing on the deck there, hopefully catching fish?
Yeah, hopefully catching fish.
Sometimes you're just having a good time with the bros, right?
Yeah, that's one thing like we want to share about with fishing and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody loves catching that big fish, loves catching a bunch of fish, and which we do our fair shares of that. But when you're out on a boat and you're just chit chatting, I mean, there's no limits to really what the conversation is going to come down to, and so you're standing on the deck of the boat. So we wanted to kind of emphasize on that, and then also have it to where, because we're just not going to have fishing people on this podcast, so we kind of wanted to put it as a somewhat as an outdoors theme. You'll see in our logo that we have actually Bruce Anderson done our logo, and he killed it. He's making us he's making us a sign as we speak. He's making us a sign for our podcast to be able to post, where you're going to see our sign as we're doing the podcast. So we want to thank you. He's also making us some tumblers. So we will eventually be able to have the tumblers and all that to where it's as Bruce said it's gonna look real good. So we have no doubt, brother. But with him doing the tumblers, we're going to also be able to eventually be able to sell some merch through with that. So, but So again, I know you kind of hit on it while I was trying to play with your phone,
Yeah,
trying to
you're
get
taking
that.
too long trying to figure my phone out.
Yeah, it's a crazy phone, but let's talk more into details about. We don't want to bring up any kind of names or maybe drop one or whatever, but let's talk about what our the podcast is going to be, if you want to, brother.
Yeah. Um, Basically, it's just a chat between fishermen. And again, also the podcast. We want to reach out to, us as fishermen, man. Uh, we just like to talk fishing, and that's kind of. And again, we're keeping it open. We're keeping an open mind to the outdoors as well because typically most fishermen are outdoorsmen.
Yeah.
Most fishermen like the outdoors. They just like being outdoors. So it's an open-minded podcast about just talking in general about the outdoors. Whether you're
Yeah.
sitting around a campfire at nighttime roasting marshmallows, just having a good old conversation with friends and family, or out on the deck of your boat,
Yep. And
talking with your fishing buddies.
yep. And welcome back, Scott Walker. He joined us on our other live that I had for the giveaway.
Hey, Scott.
So it looks like he must have got his lead poured for his A rigs. So and Scott, if you can put the link to your page for that in the comments, we'll shout that out and we'll point people towards your way, brother. So, but but again, yeah, with the podcast, it's going to kind of have this same kind of loose feeling to where we're going to be able to chit chat amongst. We're trying to with Norman and myself, but each episode is going to have a special guest. We cannot illustrate that enough. Really, the special guest, because I know that Norman and I can chit chat all day about fishing. But when you have the guests, the opportunity to have the guests that we're going to have on, you have to take the guests and have them out here just chit chatting. I mean, we've got some heavy hitters. What's up, Scott? So we because we've got some Bassmasters Elite guys coming on with us. We've got
MLF Bass Pro Tour, guys.
MLF Bass Pro Tour. Golly, I still got the hiccups, Norman. But we have them. We have some major companies in the fishing world coming on, talking to us about their new product that's coming out. We've got some local guys that's coming that are hammers here locally. Hammers. We got some other guys that are bigger names that's in the group that's coming up to be able to be with those Bassmasters Elite guys. We got them on. We've got some directors of some big name companies. So that's coming on. We've got people in the kayak world that's going to come on with us. Which is going to be interesting to me and Norman because we don't kayak fish. We don't know. All we know is hop in the boat, turn the key, and hammer down. So,
kind of give us a new light on because there's a lot of different. I mean, there's a lot of different styles of a way you can get out on the water and fish. You don't have to get out in a bass boat, do you?
No, and
kayak, wade fishing.
Right. Well, in that kayak tournament series, I really like how they do it because you could have, and it depends on the season that you're in. You could really have. Let's say you've got like a 22-inch largemouth, and depends on the season. That 22-inch largemouth could be a 6-7 pounder, but then you can catch it in another season and it's only a 4.5.
Yeah.
So I really like the fact that the kayaks do it as inches because it kind of just shows the age of the fish as you catch bigger fish and stuff like that. It really shows more or less the age of the fish, not really the weight. Even though we've grown up, everything is all about the weight. So the kayak angling, fishing, I really like that aspect of it. So, but we got some guys. We've got the guy. I'll just say this: we've got a state record holder that's going to be coming on with us. Um, so it's going to be interesting to talk to him about the bait that he used for to catch that largemouth and stuff. So um, and what it took to become a state record. It's not, and I'll just say it's not Tennessee's.
Yeah.
So,
But another thing too, kayak fishing is actually becoming a pretty popular tournament series as well. There's, you're seeing and hearing more and more about kayak tournament fishing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
the KBF's done great.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, one of my personal sponsors with Bruiser Bait, they actually just got done doing a Bruiser Bait kayak tournament, I think a month ago or so.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
It went over really, really well. I mean, big, huge turnout. And let me tell you something, that tournament down there, I think they had it on Lake Okeechobee. Them kayak boys killed it.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember the exact winning weight, but I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
And them kayak boys really know how to fish. They know how to put them fish together, and the tournament fishing with kayaks is getting really popular.
Yeah. Scott said, which he said it a few minutes ago, but was too busy chit chatting. But Scott has said that he's got. Well, still, like, Scott has his own company and stuff like that. I can't remember what the name of it is. So Scott, again, if you can put the name of your company down in the comments, would appreciate it. But what he does, he on the other episode, he had to cut us short because his lead got warm enough to where he can pour some A rigs that he was making. And so, but he just commented saying he's got his Dremel out to modify a jig head mold. So it sounds like he pours his own jigs also and makes them. Yeah, he's saying kayak fishing is huge now. And his website is offthehookjigs.com. So go check him out, see what it is. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull him up right now. Off the hook. Crap.
High tech redneck.
Hook jigs. Oh man, my buddy Benjamin Miller is on here. His sister was Cherie, the one that was on here. So, and I got my brother Jonathan, or brother-in-law Jonathan Hawkins is on here. And Scott said that he's also on Instagram. So, what do you think Johnson's first things that he says is?
He must be eating right now.
Yeah. He said that he is he's eating some Mexicans just to let us know. So but while I'm going to share my screen, Norman, if I can find it. There it is. So share. Here is his website of offthejigs.com. So this is let's see. Is it not sharing it? Can y'all let me know? It doesn't look like it's sharing. So
you can type a banner across the bottom just with the website.
Yeah. So does not look like it. I'm going to
Just back
stop
out,
sharing.
type a banner across.
Yeah, we'll type a banner out for, because we love being able uh, to help people out. So, hey Ben, I want to holler at you because I want to come and do some fishing at the homestead. So, crap. All right. So again, offthehookjigs.com. We want to push out that website for our buddy Scott, but I don't know why it would not allow me to share his website. Because I was wanting to scroll through it, let everybody see what's on there. But again, we want to talk about our YouTube channels. Um, Norman, what is your YouTube channel?
Norman Lee Fishing.
Yep, and mine is CMB Bassin 1983. We're going. We've got some big things that's coming up with our YouTube channels. Um, so if please stay tuned to what that's going to be, and uh, we've got some stuff that we're wanting to do with this chat with uh, Norman Lee and Colin Burnett. We're wanting to do. Uh, we're we're here in March. Where are we going to do that? We're going to do one of these chat with.
We're going to be at the Bassmaster Classic, and we're actually going to have a special. Of course, we're going to be doing our regular Monday chat right here from our podcast studio. We're actually going to be leaving early Thursday morning, heading for Knoxville.
Yeah.
And
well, after I get back from work.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So.
And but anyway, we'll be up doing the media day, which I think starts at 12 o'clock, 12 to 3, and we'll actually be talking to some of the anglers and in the media room with them.
Yeah.
And that evening, we are going to be doing a on the road special chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett live from the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, and so we just got an email from Bassmasters telling us pretty much what our clearance is going to be. We're pretty much going to be able to get as close to where we can even just smell the fish. So we'll
be up there up close and personal.
Yep. We got Donnie watching. So welcome, Donnie, and thanks for watching. And again, if we can get y'all if you're on Facebook watching this, hit that like button. Just blow it up. Let's keep on, because the more likes we get, and if we can get y'all to share, Facebook likes it, we're going to get more viewers, and it's going to help us out. And if you're just joining us, this chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett, we like to be able to interact with the viewers. So if you have any kind of questions, fishing or whatever, we'll chit chat back and forth with you, and we will. That's what we love to do, because we love talking about fishing. We love talking to the viewers. We had quite a few viewers come up to. We was just at the East Tennessee Fishing Expo, so we had some viewers come up to us, and we chit chatted with them. We also got David Kling. Welcome, brother. Welcome,
David.
So. But if you can chit chat, if you want to chit chat with us on here, here's a way that we found out that we can do the lives like this and be able to chit chat and interact with our viewers and kind of tell you what we've got going on. So, but again, end of March, we've got the classic going on, and So we're not fortunate enough to be able to fish in the classic, but we are going to be fortunate enough to talk to quite a few people that are fishing in it, get their talk to them about what the water's doing, what the fish are doing, and uh,
Kind of an in-depth
yeah.
analysis
Sorry,
on
I had a
what's.
message come across it. It was kind of long and it paused me.
But anyway, we're going to be able to talk about kind of an in-depth analysis from them on what their thought processes are, what their mind, what's going through their mind. The day before day one, kind of leading up. What the thought process of a professional angler with, you know, the going into the biggest stage, the biggest tournament in the world.
Yep.
Kind of what goes through their mind as they're taking off, getting ready to blast off on day one. Kind of what they think about. What goes into the preparation that they take for a big tournament like this. So we're gonna actually be able to go behind the scenes with these guys and see what we could get them to share. Of course, they're not going to share at that point any on the water stuff, but we could kind of have an idea of what their thought processes are when they're trying to even practice for the event. Of course, they get 1 day of practice for the classic. It's not like they're able to get on the water for a week.
Yeah, so they're having to break it down pretty quick.
Yeah,
So
and that's what makes them guys. I mean, who they are is that's one of the things that makes them guys professional like they are and be able to do that is there's no other anglers that could actually break down the lake as quick, kind of on the fly.
It's going to be interesting to see because we're going to be out there for blast off also. It's going to be interesting to see who has just that one rod on the deck or who has 20 rods on the deck. And if you are a fisherman, you know what I mean when I say who has the one rod and who has the 20, what that means. Because that's going to tell you a lot about what they figured out in that practice time.
Oh, yeah.
So, David Kling commented saying that he ties bass jigs. Would love for us to check them out. David, if you can, I know you had done another video, um, but I know that I cannot think of what the name of your company is. I know because you messaged me about it, and I chit chatted with you. I looked at those jigs. If you can tell us what the name of it is, and we'll talk about that also. And as we get trying to figure this out a little bit more, the software, we're going to clean jiggy jigs. That's right. That is right. I remember now. So, because we love being able to, especially these.
I like that name. I like that name.
Yeah,
that company.
it's kind of catchy.
That's
So,
pretty cool. Pretty cool
so we love talking about people um, that are making jigs because we love talking about different kind of jigs, what we do to modify jigs. Norman and I, we tie our own jigs, but we love to talk about different kind of baits and stuff like that. Um, but for sure, we want y'all to go and check out Clingy Jiggy Jigs. He's got his own page on Facebook that uh, I don't know if he can share a link on here or not. I'm not for sure, David, if you can. Um, but go check out that page. You kind of see what it is. I have joined that page here with the last. Well, I think it was. I done a live and somehow it's been probably about 2 weeks that David and I have talked, but yeah, we want to push out all of our custom people that we have because that's I mean we've caught a lot of stuff off our custom bait maker stuff. So and again we've got quite a few viewers on with the Facebook that I'm checking out. If you can tell us that when you get here, it's not telling us that who's viewing. So if you can say hey to us, we love to chit chat with you. And leave some comments if you have some questions for us about um, any kind of fishing or whatever. So, but Norman, while we're talking about that, to kind of get an idea about uh, about Norman, what you want to kind of tell us how you got started in it? Well, after he takes a drink.
Got to keep the palate wet.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I started out. Shoot, I have trying to think. Time now. It was about 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I guess. Started out working for a local. Back in Lake Placid, of course. Grew up, born and raised Lake Placid area, South Florida, the big bass capital of the world. There's no better place. If you're a fisherman, there's no better place to live than Highlands County, Florida. You got right where I actually grew up. You had 27 lakes. I mean, right within 2 or 3 miles of distance of driving, right around the Lake Placid area. So it was the best place to grow up as a kid because you had your disposal of different style type of fishing lakes. And then I started working at a bait and tackle shop where I managed the showroom, and that really opened the doors for me as far as being able to meet a lot of companies, a lot of people in the industry, and that's kind of where I first started getting my feet wet with ICAST. Going to ICAST through the bait and tackle shop that I was actually working for at the time, and again, it opened a door for me to meet a lot of bigger name people as well. Uh, and then it just went from there. I joined some bass clubs and just really fell in love with and had the passion for the sport. And my dream starting out, I could remember, I could remember growing up as a kid. Where most kids would be in their backyard pretending they're Joe Montana with 2 minutes to go on the clock, about to drive 90 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals to score the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Well, it wasn't much different for me. The only difference with me is I would walk down to the lake right down the road from us and stand on the dock with my fishing pole and pretend I was Kevin Van Dam wasn't then, but Rolla Martin or Bill Dance and with the Bassmaster Classic with time running out and catching that winning fish to win the bass. So that's kind of how I grew up, my dreams and aspirations. But it just evolved from there, and joined some bass clubs and then started fishing the BFLs, and just I just love fishing, love talking about fishing.
Yeah.
So and anytime we could talk about the sport and how great the sport is.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
What's cool about it today, though, is you see back when even so when we were kids, we didn't have what they have today as far as in the world of fishing. It's so cool now where they have high school fishing teams, and then you could actually get a scholarship from high school to go fish in college. And think how great that would have been back in the day when we were going to school. If we would have had the opportunities that the younger kids have today to be able to get involved in the sport, it's just it opened it up. I think there was a stretch there when Jordan Lee, of course, he won back-to-back classics, but there was a stretch, I think 3 years in a row with Jordan Lee. 2 of those, but the first 3 winners of the Bassmaster Classic that actually originally came from the college ranks.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where it's kind of opening up the sport and making it easier for the younger generation to really get involved in the sport.
Right. Let's see. Scott Walker says it is 28 and 28 and 30 mile an hour winds. That is cold. He said it's supposed to warm up. He's up in Maryland.
Oh, geez.
he fishes around the Chesapeake area, Chesapeake Bay. So um, we need to get up there. That'd be nice to be able to go hook up with him and to do some.
Man, maybe you.
Some
I walked outside earlier. I think it's 40 degrees outside, and I had to come right back inside. I'm like, oh,
I tell you, well, I had to deal with my real job. I sling little Debbie's, and we had to go up to Western Kentucky, and it was 26, 27 all night long, and with it spitting snow, raining,
it'll be a
and
heat
the
in your truck.
roads were ice, and so there's nothing like having a 70,000 pound sled that you're driving. So so I was about to say, wanted to click off, and yours done it too. But hopefully we'll get it back on.
Should be on right now.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, it's back on.
So but yeah, so we was wanting to kind of let you know the background. Well, Norman let you know about his. I'll let you know kind of about my background of fishing. Um, I grew up in the Nashville area, and um my dad is on here, and he can kind of narrow it down. I think I wasn't, but like 4 or 5 months old was the first time that I ever got out on a boat, and so uh, with my dad and my granddaddy, and so grew up fishing the Nashville area. My granddaddy had a cabin that was on Kentucky Lake, so we went there quite a bit, caught a bunch of fish on Kentucky Lake, and so then we moved to the Chattanooga area. Been here going on 24 years, and that's a long time.
Yeah.
But we've been here for 24 years. I but we I grew up fishing with them. They put the love of fishing in my genes and in my blood, uh, and so I started just going out just bank fishing. I got a boat, got into some few little night tournaments, doing little dog fights and stuff like that. Really enjoyed it. Done some other tournaments, and then I was like, I want to start doing some YouTubing, and so I I finally got in. I finally talked myself into it. Been doing YouTube for about 10 months. The channel's growing pretty decently. Would like to see it get up over 1,000 subscribers. So, so with that being said, I've been able to meet quite a few people. Um, and then good Lord put Norman in my path. And what, about 2 years ago, went out on the boat. And so from that first time we went out on the boat, we've been.
As a matter of fact, I had met your dad.
Yeah, you met my
I met
dad
Steve.
first. Yeah.
You know, we just I think a month and a half before that we got here permanently, and my wife was having a yard sale. We had, I mean, we brought pretty much everything that we own from Lake Placid with like 3 U-Haul loads and about 20 car loads. I mean, we must have made trip after trip, but we're having a yard sale up here, try to get rid of some stuff that we really didn't need that we brought with us. So Colin's dad was here at the yard, so that's where I first met Colin's dad. And he, you know, through Colin's dad, he kind of hooked Colin up with me. So
yeah, we
been a
also
great friendship ever since.
yeah, and we got a good buddy of mine that I grew up that he lived about 3 or 4 houses down from me, Chris McLean. And we got some good old memories of growing up in the Mount Juliet area together. So welcome, brother, man. It's good to see you. So but yeah, so that's how we kind of got. He's got more of the BFL, FLW kind of tournament series wise, to where he's been able to go and fish a lot more different places than what I have. But this past year, I've knocked off quite a few lakes just going out fishing with Norman, fishing with my dad, fishing with my brother-in-law. Um, but we've got to be able to meet quite a few people. And with doing that, that had allowed us to be able to where we're wanting to do this chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett, and also do our podcast, which is Deck Talk, which is hopefully within the next week and a half, we're going to be able to. To be able to get the first episode up and ready to go to where it's out.
We're not going to announce it right yet, but we have a pretty cool guest coming up for our first episode.
Yeah, he's a stud. So David asked, "Are we on TikTok?" I am on TikTok. Norman right now is not on TikTok.
Otherwise, I got to get up at the times.
Right? Right. I got to get him up to times. I just now got him. About a month and a half ago, I got him on Instagram. So I'm trying to slowly. I don't want to overload him with all these new apps and stuff like that. But we are going to. We're both, and my TikTok account is CMB Bassin. 1983.
Same as YouTube.
Same as YouTube. All of my social media has got to do is the same. CMB Bassin 1983, except for Instagram, it's just CMB Bassin because some odd reason somebody already had 1983. I think I don't know. It wouldn't let me do it. But we got Matt Fisher is also on here. Welcome, brother. So. Y'all have any questions for Norman and I? You kind of know our backgrounds of what we've done.
It's all interactive,
So that's what we want to do with the chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett, is just where we're interactive with our viewers. But after we do March, at the end of March, the classic. Get to meet quite a few people. We have something. Oh man, Chad's on here. Chad Watts.
Hey, what's up, Chad?
So
Firefly Navigation Lights, the man himself, Chad Watts. Firefly Outdoors and Marine.
Yep. So
you go and do a banner.
Yeah, I need to do a banner. Norman, why don't you tell them what we got coming on in July while I do this?
All right. Anyway, come July, of course, we're going to be down in ICAST again. We're going to ICAST. ICAST is always a good time. Get a chance to walk the floor. We're actually going to be down there the day before the main show opens up for ICAST on the water. And we're going to be doing some YouTube lives, while we're down there, along with, of course, the show is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Well, ICAST on the Water is actually on the Tuesday. So we'll get down there for ICAST on the Water. We'll be kind of floating around a little bit. And then we'll be at ICAST main show on Wednesday and Thursday. So that ought to be a good time. But after on a Thursday afternoon or evening after the show's over, we'll be scooting down to Highlands County, Florida.
Yep.
And we're going to be doing what we love to do, and we're going to be doing some fishing down there.
Yeah. And what are we going to do that Thursday once we get down to the Lake Placid?
We get down, well, anyway, we got a good friend of ours, which he owns Lake Placid Freshwater Charter and Guide, Crappie Guide, my man Dennis Crenshaw. And I'll throw this out, best crappie guy in the South, and hands down, seen it firsthand. But anyway, with that being said, Dennis and his wife's going to put us up. We're going to be hanging with Dennis a little bit while we're down there, and so we appreciate Dennis and his wife for putting up with our two ugly mugs for
more or
about
less
4 or
his
5
wife.
days.
We're
more or
not
less
worried about Dennis.
Yeah, but shout out to Dennis and I apologize. I'm so bad with the names. Dennis's wife, but but anyway, yeah. Shout out to Dennis and his wife. And but anyway, when we get down there Thursday evening, we are going to be going out doing some crappie fishing with Dennis.
Yep.
And we're probably going to try to film it too. So hopefully get some good video on crappie fishing. But after that, we're going to be going down to a place that you fell in love with last year, right?
Yes. We're going to be going to the Everglades. The first full day that we're going to be able to fish, which is Friday, we're going to the Everglades. I'm going to spend all day down in the Everglades, get up at the crack of dawn, go down to the Everglades, and throw nothing but top water.
We're actually going to be going down there before the crack of dawn. We're going to be hitting the lake at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what. So, but we're going to get there, hopefully have the boat in the water for the sunrise, which is going to be able to let us show off what the Firefly nav lights are doing, to where you're fishing underneath the full moon. It is great. So we want to go down there and catch some peacocks. And
we'll be catching some peacocks too. They're just so so abundantly down there.
Yeah,
it's just crazy. If you've never been to the Everglades and never fished the Everglades, I highly recommend going down there. Put it on a bucket list, man. It's such a good time.
Yeah.
And if you're used to lake fishing or even up here, there's nothing like it up here or out of the state of Florida like you're gonna see when you get down into the Everglades. And even if you fish a lot of Florida lakes, when you get down in the Everglades, it's kind of a different animal. But let me tell you, them peacocks will smash. And when I say smash, I don't mean smash, I mean crush.
Yeah.
And they don't, not only when it's the morning or evening or the typical prototypical time to fish topwater.
It was all day.
They will crush it all day long.
Yeah.
12 o'clock noon, bluebird skies, and you're having peacocks just smash the heck out of topwater. They're spooks.
And so what we're going to do, especially on that day, because we want our viewers to be able to see it, we're going to go live on both of our channels, which is CMB Bassin 1983 and Norman Lee Fishing on YouTube. That's where we're going to be going live when we're down there, especially fishing the Everglades, because that is what I really want to see. I want y'all to see and hear how vicious these peacocks are. I mean, we know we get excited when we have that bass come up and just hit top water. It's always exciting about top water anyways, but when it sounds so vicious, I mean, it's like a wham, and it's loud. I mean, I've never heard a top water, anything hit a top water is loud and crushes what those peacocks do. So we're going to do that. You're going to get to see the alligators swimming right next to the boat.
Yeah, it'll be an uncut, unedited, from start to finish, just live on YouTube.
Yeah, so it's going to be just a raw footage of what it is. You get to honestly see, which I've done some lives before while I'm out on the boat. So you kind of get to see. This is going to be a live version of how Norman and I react and talk to each other on the boat, what we're talking about, how we're trying to, because as we're working down the bank or whatever, because all it is, like in the Everglades, just pretty much it's a straight canal. I mean, for miles, isn't it? So
there's a lot of different series of straight canals, but yeah, that's basically what it's all amounts to.
Right. So you'll get to hear us talking back and forth of really kind of what we're breaking down this canal uh, as we're going. So you kind of get to hear that aspect of it. Kind of get to see how we break down things. We might depends on really how it does after the fact. We might try to do something on Lake Placid area. Don't know quite yet.
We really don't have a schedule set in stone right yet as far
Right.
as what we're going to do once we get down there. But we do know that Everglades is first on the list.
Yeah, because we only got to spend a half a day there because we both had other obligations that next day that we had to get back. And from the Everglades back to Cleveland is roughly about 11 and a half, 12-hour drive for us.
The mistake we made last year was we put the Everglades off to the last day.
Yeah.
And we had to actually be off the water at I think 12 noon to start heading back.
And we extended that
by about an hour, but we were off the lake by about 1 o'clock, and we really, we want to go down. This year we're putting out on the first on list, so we're actually going to go down there the first day we're there, first full day we're there, and so we can have all day. And depending on how things work out on the first day down in the Everglades, we're probably. And it's not set in stone yet, but we're probably gonna make that the last day also. Go back down there and give one more day down there, and in between the first and last day, and again, it's not set in stone. We'll kind of make decisions on the fly where we want to go down there, but probably most likely, one of the days we're going to be on either Lake Placid or Lake June, and then possibly on Lake Estepoga one of the days, which those three lakes, I guided on for 15 years. Very familiar with them. So, and like I say, they're fun lakes to fish. And that's what I was saying about Lake Placid too, is you got Lake June and Lake Estepoga, or I'm sorry, Lake June and Lake Placid, which is kind of untypical type of fishing that you normally see in Florida. Florida usually is a lot of shallow lake fishing, shoreline fishing. Well, Lake June and Lake Placid, for the most part, I'm offshore in 20, 25 foot of water. Never seeing the shoreline. I don't fish the shoreline on those two lakes because you really don't have to. There's so much out there on the structure you got offshore. And then you got Lake Estepoga, which is your prototypical Florida style lake, which a lot of reeds, a lot of grass, a lot of fishing in 2 to 4 foot of water, flipping, throwing spinnerbait, stuff like that. So it kind of gives you both different types of fishing right there in that one area.
Yeah. So we got John. I'm bad with saying names, so I'm not going to try to say your last name, John, because I don't want to butcher it. But welcome, John. We thank you for getting on here and chit-chatting with us. So, but yeah, last year when we went and fished, we started out at headwaters, and we caught a few fish at headwaters.
Yeah, we literally got drove off the lake. You want to tell them that story?
Yeah, we seen this storm building up, and I mean it was vicious. And so, but if y'all haven't ever been to headwaters, all it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Norman, it's just like an old farmland.
It's flooded.
That was flooded, right?
Pasture.
And so you'll have like these little canals, and then it just opens up to, you might have 300 yards of an open area. And so with it opened up, and had not ever been there before, we're watching how everything's coming. I'm pretty good with sense of directions. And I was telling Norman, I said, hey, look how close this one's coming. And we're like, we got probably about another hour we can fish before we really gonna have to make a judgment. And about 20 minutes later, this thing blew up on us. And so it was It was fun.
Lightning cracking all over the place. I ended up shutting all my electronics off, because last thing you want in a boat when you have lightning storm going on around you is your electronics on, because your electronics in your boat draws that's a lot of people don't realize that a lot of uh, lightning strikes that you have when it uh, involves boaters is because it's being attracted to your electronics. So that, take that as a little a bit of a learning thing there. If you're ever in a lightning storm or trying to run away from a lightning storm, and don't think lightning won't hit you when you're trying to run away from it, because it will actually track your electronics in your boat.
Yeah.
Lightning's electricity, and it's going to go for electricity.
Yeah.
So if you're ever around a lightning storm, turn all your electronics off, turn your fish finders off. You don't want anything going on electronically in your boat.
So yeah, and so Norman's got a couple crazy stories about that. So just besides the headwaters deal, I can remember us going at headwaters. We turned off all the electronics. We finally got in the final canal to where it led straight to the boat ramp, and the canal speed limit was
the speed limit at headwaters in general is 20 miles an hour. You're not allowed to go over 20 miles an hour, which I don't know if you have a bass boat that does 75, 20 miles an hour seems like you're walking.
Yeah, and so we got to see what the old Bruiser Cruiser power
Bruiser Big Dream Machine.
What it done, because
and luckily there was no buddy with no fishing game out there with one of them guns pointing it at us to see how fast we were going, because I think we exceeded that 20 mile an hour speed limit by probably about 50.
About 50, yeah. So, but yeah, he's got other stories like that we're going to talk about in the podcast.
Yeah.
Because we want to save some of these stories. We love talking about them, but we want to save some of his stories. He's got some very interesting stories.
And talking about what I just mentioned about electronics and lightning storms, we do have a couple. I do have a couple stories that we're going to probably talk about in one of our podcasts, which is something that I don't like talking about, but that's kind of where I have learned through a couple of events that I don't want to say friends. They were acquaintances of mine that I knew through the fishing industry that happened to, and kind of learning different things on keys on why stuff happens. So when I talk about electronics in your boat, around lightning storms, it comes from other incidents. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Incidents that has happened, that I try to learn from these different things why something might happen. So, but it's just a couple other stories that we will talk about down the road.
Yep, so very interesting stories. We got some crazy stories about us being out on the water in some crazy weather. Got us talking. We'll talk about being on Chickamauga with some 4.5 foot rollers, which that's always fun. But we talk about like that. But then we got some people that are friends with us that's from Okeechobee area or even the Great Lakes, and we talk about 4.5 footers, and they just laugh at us.
Oh yeah.
But
you ain't lived till you've been in Okeechobee. The one thing about the Lake Okeechobee is that basically it's a shallow version of wide open spaces like the Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic Ocean, but it's shallow.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of brings them waves up higher than most people would think, is because when that high winds come, it's actually, there's nothing down below except the bottom that helps kind of push them waves up.
Yeah.
So Okeechobee could have some monster waves. Very dangerous to operate Lake Okeechobee when that wind comes up.
Hey, Dad, I cannot see what Scott Hassett's question is. Some odd reason it's not pulling up. So can you type it out on the the Facebook what his question is, and we'll definitely get to it and we're sorry that some odd reason I am not seeing what his question is. So didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
So, but while we got y'all on here, can y'all please hit that like button? Just smash it, and I mean, just hit it as many times as you can, especially on Facebook, because Facebook likes seeing the interaction that we have, and so, and if you can share this podcast, or not the podcast, but this little special that we're doing, the chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett, we would appreciate it. And Scott, man, I appreciate your comment. Sorry that we could not see it. I think my dad's going to take care of it. He's going to. All right. Okay. Bruce answered it for us. Scott asked if you could go anywhere, I guess, in the world. It just says, if you could go anywhere and to fish, where would that be?
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Is that from Bruce?
No, that's from Scott.
From Scott. That is a very good question. I'll let you go first.
If I could fish anywhere, I think right now I would want to go to Rayburn. One, to me, Rayburn, I mean, there's a list of them that you can hit. I mean, Fork Lake, Rayburn, Okeechobee. I have not fished any of them three. I love fishing them in the South. I would like to actually also go down to southern Louisiana, like where in Godwin. We've talked to Godwin with Duck Dynasty and the Duck Commanders and stuff like that. We talked to him about maybe coming down there and getting him to fish with us. I'd love to do that. As much as I hate going up to New York, but New York's got probably one of the best bass fishing lakes in the United States, right? Mm-hmm. So, what is it, Champlain?
Champlain's up there, St. Clair.
St. Clair.
I've actually fished St. Clair 6 or 7 years ago.
So, to me, those right there is, during the wintertime, I want to head south. That's just who I am. I hate the cold. I give y'all people that's up north all the props to be able to handle all that. But this southern boy does not like cold weather. So, but I think if I had to put it, it's had to be somewhere in Texas. It's going to have to be Lake Fork or I don't know what Bruce is talking about. Either Lake Fork or Rayburn. That's going to be my two that is kind of a bucket list fishing.
Yeah. You know, and for myself, I'm going to go a little bit in a different type of direction. Of course, this is really a bucket list type deal in mine. You know, I'd like to go to the Amazon one time because I was actually just watching a YouTube video not too long ago at the of I can't remember whose video it was. It was a couple big name professional anglers from it, but took a trip down to the Amazon, and I'd love to go down there and catch some of those 18, 19, 20 pound peacocks that they're
catching down there. Can you imagine the cracking that it's going to do and crushing those top waters?
It was insane, dude. And I just was watching that video, and I'm like, man, I'm daydreaming of being down there, and it's actually, from what they were saying, it's not that expensive of a trip. They actually have something where you could actually book the whole trip. You book your guide, the flight, your whole trip, and you actually get a guide down there that basically takes you out for 3 or 4 days, and you just, just the fishing down there is unreal. with. I mean, could you imagine catching a topwater, a 20-pound peacock? You know,
No.
we're down there in the Everglades, and we caught a few. Our last trip down there last year in July, and we caught a few pound and a halfers, and we thought those were pretty damn good peacocks. Could you imagine 20-pound peacock?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
But that's kind of now whether it ever happens or not. Hey, you never know. But that's kind of my bucket list. I'd love to do. Of course, my only downfall on that is I don't like to fly. So, but I think I might have to. I'll overdose on
some Benadryl
or something like that, or I don't drink, but maybe I might have to have a few highballs before I hit the plane, pass myself out, and wake up. And that wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Well, what about in which the Amazon is a great. I wasn't thinking more or less like that,
Yeah.
even though it was asked. But I really, my thinking of is our USA stuff that we could actually do. Um, what about in the United States? What's a lake that you would like to fish in the United States?
Shoot, man, I've been to a lot of them.
I
I tell you what, I haven't been here yet, and me and Colin is actually have talked about it, within the last 6 months, but I'd like to, well, actually, there's a couple different ones, and we actually have talked about this, and talking about, possibly hooking up with the guys from, Godwin down there, and with the Duck Commander is, uh, the three lakes they have down there. I can't. The names of the lakes don't ring a bell right now, but MLF Bass Pro Tour fished them last year,
yeah.
and watching the MLF guys, fish these three lakes. Those are three of the lakes.
DC won it down there though, didn't he? Isn't that where he
Yeah.
got his?
Was it? Did Dustin win that event?
I think that's one of the events that he won last year.
But yeah,
Was down in that southern Louisiana. But another thing, what about
Lake Fork is my other one.
Yeah, what about Clear Lake
Clear
out
Lake?
in California? Only reason why I would want to go out to California would be
California. That's where they use those 14-inch trout looking hard baits.
Yeah, they use some monster baits out there. They've got some monster bass. If the world record is going to be broke, I guarantee it's probably going to be out in California.
There's a group of guys out there. I don't know. They're not really a group of guys, but there's guys out there that they call themselves world record hunters, and that's all they do is they go hunting that world record.
Yeah,
because
which
I think out of the top 25, I think the top 16 in the world is all out of California.
Yeah, we actually got quite a few people that we know here locally that is from that area. Ben Green with Ben Green Insurance is a good buddy of ours. He's from that way, has caught some monster fish out that way. But I mean, some people might know these guys. The people they moved out here. They're from the river where we mainly put in. They're probably about a mile up the river. But I mean, I don't know. You think these guys will know who Tactical Bassin, Matt Allen, and Tim Little? Do you think? I mean, they might know who.
Might know who
they're from that way. Yeah. You've seen on their channel that they've caught some big ones.
And by the way, their YouTube channel is killing it.
Yeah, but it has always done that here the past. I mean, 7-8 years they've been killing it. I would strongly suggest go check out Tactical Bassin's YouTube. But just talking to them, talking to other people that we know. We got Art and Eric from Spear Point Performance Hooks. They're from out that way. They've also left California to come towards the Chattanooga area. So, but they're here local guys that we've talked to about it. So, Bruce says to go south for the winter. I totally strongly agree with that. I don't mind people making fun of me, calling me snowbirds, because at least I'll be warm catching some big old bass. So, um, what else we got on here? Let's see. Um,
Almost got everything we wanted to talk about covered.
yeah, we've been on here for an hour and 15 minutes,
Time flies when
just
you're having
chit
fun and talking
chatting.
fishing.
We love the interaction that we're having with y'all. I don't know why. I bet it's when uh, we kind of had the camera issue a little bit that I did not see what Scott had put. Uh, but my dad and Bruce hooked us up with to see what the question of it was. So, but again, we love the interaction with each other. That's what it's all about. Again, we're going to be doing this once a week. On what days, Norman?
We're gonna be chatting. Let's talk some fishing on Mondays. Every Monday at 3ish.
Yep. So, because we don't want to say 3 o'clock, and then it comes down to where we're a little bit late because we've been out on the water, and
We are going fishing Monday too. We're gonna be on the water Monday.
Yep.
And when we come off the water, we'll be doing our chat. So hopefully we'll have some epic moments from the day's fishing to talk about next Monday.
What about before we let people go? Let's let them know, Norman, about if y'all are in the Florida area here February 15th and through beginning of March.
Yeah, well, February 15th, I'll be heading down to Florida. I'm going to be down there I'll be down there through March 5th. The first 3 days I'll be down there, I'll be spending the first 3 days on the water trying to locate, find fish. And then I'm booking trips from February 19th all the way through March 5th. So if you're down in the Florida area and or the Highlands County area, and you're wanting to go on a guided fishing trip, holler at me.
Yep.
And see if I can't hopefully put you on what Florida's known for is those bucket mouth bass that look like about that. But anyway, no, I already have quite a bit of trips booked. I do still have some open dates. So holler at me, message me or comment, and I can give you my available dates or if you feel like booking.
Yep. So with that being said, go check him out. Facebook is Norman Lee. It's Norman Lee Fishing, isn't it?
Well, you can go under Norman. I got my two Facebook accounts. One's under Norman Lee. The other's Norman Lee Fishing.
Right.
I got two of them.
So, and again,
either one works.
And if we can get you to go to our YouTube channels, again, it's CMB Bassin 1983, and Norman's is Norman Lee Fishing on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. Mainly hit that subscribe button. Help us out, grow our channels, and help us be able to teach other people how we fish, some methods, and if you want to know what we're doing again, that's what this little chat with Norman Lee and Colin Burnett, that's what this little weekly thing's going to be. So we want to be able to interact with our viewers more. So we feel that being able to do this live on YouTube and on Facebook, that's going to help us be able to interact with our viewers. So if you can subscribe to that, and it'll let you know, hit that notification bell, let you know when we're going live, when we're posting new videos. We do have some videos that are coming up probably here in the next day or so that we've done here this past weekend. and Norman has done a heck of a job with editing those, and so we're going to have them out on our YouTube channel and Facebook here pretty soon within the next day. So, you got anything else, brother?
That's about it, man. Other than we'll see y'all Monday at 3-ish.
3-ish.
And let's talk some fishing.
Heck yeah. So again, we want to say thanks. We love y'all.
Yep.
We appreciate what y'all have done. Hope y'all have tight lines, and see you guys out on the water.